everyone, it's Hannah Nieves of the HN Haus Podcast, and we are back, and this is a very special episode. Very special episode. We are expecting a little girl at the end of this year, and I'm so excited to finally share that I am pregnant, which is pretty wild to say. And you know, I waited a long time to talk about this for so many reasons. And today I want to share it all with you because, you know, since I haven't been sharing about this, we've been doing a lot on the back end with the team and, you know, personally speaking, and this episode is going to be coming a lot. So talking about managing grief, becoming pregnant, scaling a 7-figure company while being pregnant, while also planning for maternity leave. So we're going to be covering a lot today, and this is a big focus because, you know, like I said, like our core ethos of everything that we do at HN Haus is all about redefining the way we live and work, right? Like integrating business and life together. Now, I know for some of you in here, you know, having kids or building a family might not be, you know, in your deck of cards, or it might not be something that you desire, and that is okay. But I want to take it back to about a year and a half ago when we started the process. And my clients know this. I've openly shared it on our newsletter, but I struggled with fertility issues and miscarriage. And it was October of 2022 when I went through a miscarriage while traveling for a month in California. And you can imagine what that was like. And thankfully, my partner was there with me during that time. But, you know, going through that experience really taught me so much about myself and what we were actually building here. And it really brought so much into perspective. And I think a lot of people, and I know this, a lot of people do not talk about what actually happens when you're running this high-powered business, but then you also go through grief. And grief could look like miscarriage. Grief could look like losing a family member, a friend, whatever it may be. But grief is a real thing. And, you know, it does take a lot to continue to show up in your business, to continue to show up, you know, for yourself while going through this. And it's something that I had to learn along the way, that it's okay to let people in. It's okay to share it with your community, because a lot of people have gone through that. And I will say, when I did openly share it with our community, you know, in our email newsletter, the amount of people that poured into me was just so incredible and so powerful. And it was just a true testament to the community that we've built here. So I just encourage all of you that if you're going through grief of any sort right now, lean in, right? Give yourself that space, but lean into the people around you, because people are more than willing to help support you. So we went through that. Fast forward, found out I was pregnant this year, and everything has changed. And that's what I want to talk about. And we're going to be doing several other episodes talking about this, because I feel like, as the founder, especially running these multiple brands, that my entire perspective has changed completely, and she hasn't even, you know, come yet. And I want to talk about that. So one of the things that I realized after becoming pregnant, and this was a true realization, was that there was a lot that had to change in the business before this child got here, right? And there was a lot of self-awareness that happened when I was, you know, going through the motions. And obviously you're really, really excited, but then you also have this, you know, almost sheer panic of, oh my goodness, I'm going to be a mom and I'm going to be running this business at the same time. And some of the things that, you know, became really important to me when I was going through this process was that, I needed to let go of a lot of things, let go of a lot of commitments that I was committing to, let go of even offers that weren't serving us anymore. And I had to bring in the right team to get us there. So around that same time, I hired our CMO, who has been an angel and a saint in, you know, bringing this all together. It couldn't have happened at a better time. But I had to go through, first off, a restructuring of how we were doing business, because I knew that when this child was going to come, that things might look a little bit different, right? And I need to give myself a little bit of grace. And this came at the realization that I can't do everything. So when I talk about in other episodes that you need to build the team around you to help support you, this was that time. So we went through a whole restructuring of our offers and really had to look at everything, right, with a magnifying glass and saying, what depends on me, what does not depend on me. And then whatever depends on me, we had to zoom in on and see, okay, how can we automate this, streamline this, create a process around this, bring in the right team member to help execute this where it is off my plate. So we went through this whole process of redefining our offer suite. And then we went through this whole process as a team to get clear on the roles and responsibilities as we prepare for maternity leave. And I want to share this with you because this was something that became really, really important to me. And I've heard from a lot of founders is that when you're running this really powerful company, there's also, I've heard on the flip side, there's a lot of people, a lot of women that feel a lot of shame around taking time off during mat leave. And I thought this was wild, right? And not to say that you need to take 6 months off, but you need to do what's best for you. And I know, at least for me personally, I want to give myself the flexibility of saying, you know what, if I want to take a few weeks off and dive in a little bit, okay, I have that flexibility. Or if I want to take 3 months off, I can do that too. So one of the things that my team did, which I want to openly share kind of our plan here, is that we all met in person about a month ago to go over the actual plan of what we were going to do to bring this to life. We had a few months to plan this, and we're still going through the motions here, but I want to pull back the curtain. So we met as a team and got clear on what is our vision? What are we doing? Where are we now? It is so easy as business owners to get caught up in having 50 million projects in your queue, and you have to clear everything. So we went over A, where are we going? B, what are the bottlenecks that are stopping us from getting there? And C, what are the things that rely on me to get us there? So we figured out what those bottlenecks were and created a plan. So we created I think it was roughly like a 5 or 6 month plan for us to get there. So this looks like redefining the way that we do sales, redefining that we deliver services, redefining the way that we market, right? Operationally speaking, that was pretty set in stone, but those 3 core areas are what we looked at. And we created a roadmap for us as a team. So as we're doing this, as we're preparing for mat leave, we have built a roadmap and a plan out, and it feels so freaking good. So if you're going through this, or you're thinking about, oh my God, how am I going to even run these businesses when, I start to build a family, if that's something you desire, it is possible. It is possible. And I just want to share that, at first when I found out I was pregnant and, really sat and looked at, what am I actually building here? I did have a little bit of a sheer panic. I was, saying to my husband, I don't know how I'm going to actually do this during the same time of this major transition of life. And I'm really happy to say that there is a plan, there is a way to do this. And again, it all comes down to relying on your community, relying on your network, relying on your team. And it is okay to let people help you. I think for the longest time, and I'm sure a lot of people listening to this can resonate, but I've always been the person that's been so go, 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 but then also the person that can just execute things. And I realized that in order for us to get to the next level, I had to release even more control in the business to be able to allow us to get there. So this meant that allowing my CMO to really cultivate the leadership of the team, having her meet with our team, having her almost steer the ship for me when I'm not here. This also meant empowering my team members and my employees that they are taking a proactive role in getting us to the vision of where we want to go. Right outside of just the long-term vision of where the company is going, they know when we have transparency and what our revenue goals are. They know exactly what each branch of the business is going to bring in next year, and they know that every single action step of what they are doing is going to get us closer to that, right? But I had to open up the transparency because we are all working together as a team. So if you're going through this and you're planning for mat leave, there is a process and a way. It comes down to just looking at how are you operating your business right now? Do you enjoy part of it? do not enjoy some other parts and just really getting honest with yourself. B, simplifying as much as possible, right? Simplifying down your calendar, simplifying down what you say yes to. And I realized that I was saying yes to so many things that just didn't make sense. And it's so easy as a people pleaser to just say yes to so many collaboration opportunities and meetings and whatnot, but sometimes you have to be a little bit more selfish with your time. So C, also setting the expectation with your team, or if you're running solo, meeting with yourself and going over, here's my timeline. Here's how much time I want to take off. Here are the areas of my business that I need to automate and streamline, and really giving yourself a runway. And the last thing that we're also doing is giving ourselves time to actually plan. So we're strategically, before I go out on mat leave at the end of December, planning out times where I'm quote unquote not going to be around, or there's going to be, say launches or activations where the team is going to run it without me. So we're going to test and see where the gaps are. So again, none of this is perfect, but I think it all comes down to what is going to work best for you during the season. But I'm so excited to be able to open up this whole new chapter of HN Haus, as the founder of HN Haus, and for my personal brand, I'm excited to be able to open up this chapter of being a mom and, running these businesses. And I've had the privilege of working with so many moms, over the last few years, and it's so incredible to see what they do, but more importantly, like what they balance and integrate on a day-to-day basis. And I'm just excited to be able to share that with all of you. So excited to see you around, and I hope this was helpful. And I'd love to know from you if you have any tips and tricks on your end that have worked for you for mat leave. Send me a DM at HN Haus. I'll see you in the next episode.